name is Barbara Vanderpal, and I'm the current president of the American STD Association. And we're putting together this tribute to honor Julius Schachter, who was a very important leader in the field of chlamydia control in a variety of areas. I first met Julie in 1984 when he passed pronouncement on the first poster presentation that I did at a national meeting. Not much long after that, he presided and was the commentator at a session where I presented my first oral presentation on chlamydia. And when there were no questions in the audience, Julie said, "Well, that makes sense because she's right. Okay, thank you." And that was my experience with Julie for the next 40 years. He was honest. He was sometimes brutally honest, but he was someone that we could really rely on to be an advocate in this field, not only for sexually transmitted chlamydia, but also for elimination of trachoma-related blindness. We will miss him so much. I can't really express my sadness at his passing, but hopefully we will carry on the traditions that he started, and chlamydia control will become a reality in the coming years.
Hello. It was a great shock for me to learn about Julie's death. Julie was probably my first mentor in the field of STIs, without him even knowing that he was my mentor. In actual fact, when I started as a public health officer being interested in sexually transmitted infections in the early 80s, I read most of the papers that Julie had written, and this was a big inspiration for me. But in fact, my most acute memory of Julie was when I was invited to play golf with him at just after a IUSTI meeting in Singapore in 1994. We had great fun, and I will always remember that. And also, we played golf again in 2011 in Quebec City after the ISSTDR meeting that I was chairing. Another great experience for me because Julie was a serious guy, but also a very funny guy, and we were in a position to talk about work, but also about our personal lives when we played golf together. Thank you.
This is Bob Cook, and I first met Julie at the meeting of the ISSTDR in New Orleans way back in the 1990s. I was just a fellow trying to make it in the STD world and presented a talk at this conference, and I knew Julius Schachter was the editor of the journal, and he came up to me after the talk and said it was really interesting and good stuff, and that was to me a very exciting time, and I always remember that. So we'll miss you, Julie.
Dear colleagues, today my message is too sad because we all have a great loss. Julius passed away. My name is Dubrow and I'm from Russia. I met with Julius long time ago, approximately 10 years ago, and was free or fourth time invited by him to visit his congress. For me, he was and will be for sure always an example of great scientist, a good friend and very kind person. And I feel sorry because he passed away, and we all will miss him for sure.
Greetings to all. I'm Tom Quinn, and in this tribute to Julie Schachter, I wish to share my deep sadness for the loss of Julie to all of us in the scientific community and to us as friends and colleagues of his. It goes without saying that I cannot imagine his loss and what it means to all of you listening to this, to his family, and his very close friends. My condolences, my sympathies all go out to you. I just want to make a few personal notes about my relationship with Julie, and then to share a few photos that I've collected over the past month since his passing. in terms of my relationship to Julie, I first learned about the great Julie Schachter, the most famous scientific person in the field of chlamydia, when I, as an infectious disease fellow, was working with King Holmes, the late Walter Stamm, Hunter Hansfield, doing chlamydia work among men who have sex with men. And we identified a number of rectal infections of chlamydia. We wrote it up and submitted this report to the New England Journal of Medicine. And Julie was the reviewer. He let me know about that later on. It was accepted and it was published, and I was deeply and gratified and in deep gratitude to Julie for that first scientific publication. We then later met personally about a year later at the first International Conference on Human Chlamydia Infections, which, as many of you know, he was the leading organizer of that meeting. It occurred every 4 years. And he was just a force that we all went to, we learned from, we had debates with, and we enjoyed our social time with him after that. He and I became good friends, and we started working on diagnostics together, along with Max Chernesky and Ned Hook, and again, Walt Stamm and David Martin. We ended up working on one project with Helen Lee, then at the time at Abbott. And we went to Hawaii, we went to Spain, we went to Italy, a number of places. And in each of those environments, we all got closer and closer together. This was essentially a 50-year relationship of friendship, of collegiality, of a time of learning from one of the giants in the field of infectious diseases, and certainly in the field of chlamydia. It has always been my honor to know Julie, to work with them, and to experience what a wonderful person he was to all of you listening to this, and to many others. And so I want to show this little compilation of slides. And so if you'll bear with me, I will try to put this together. If I can. Okay, let me see if this will work. I'm going to play this little slideshow for everyone. So this was Julie in the early years, but he, as shown in this photo, enjoyed all of the social environments of the chlamydia meetings, of the International Union of Sexually Transmitted Infections, of the STD Association, which he was president and subsequently editor of the journal. And almost all of these photos that I was able to capture, he is always with beautiful women, and many times with his closest friend, Max Chernesky. Angelica Starry gave me these photos. Don't ask me what this hat represents, but I'm sure she knows. It is just wonderful to see what a warm and happy person he really was at all these meetings, enjoying all of the company there, enjoying a good glass of wine, oftentimes which we would enjoy in his room afterwards, after dinner, to talk about the day's events. You can see he really did enjoy wine with Ned Hooks, Max, Angelica, and one of his close friends, Rick Stevens. Again, this is at the last international meeting on chlamydia that took place. And I think you can all just witness how much fun we all had being around Julie. This is Charlotte Gatos. He enjoyed even dancing or getting into debates with people like you, Taylor, and many others. He worked hard with us on trachoma elimination with Sheila West and many of our colleagues, Tom Lietman being one of those as well. It is just incredible to realize that he's not going to be with us. And that loss is immeasurable. It is something that we will feel at all of these meetings. But we will dedicate our work and our research in the field of chlamydia to Julie and to everything that he represented to us and to the whole community. So I will say to Julie and his family, we're going to miss you. We will not forget you, and we will love you from now until we meet again. Julie, goodbye, and we love you.